I came back from Triton Cyprus around a week ago. It was a very successful trip for me. I really enjoyed it, but I also had a lot of headache in some of the situations, and I picked many of exactly those hands that really were tough decisions for me that we can review them together. In the mix as well will be some big hands, some key hands that I played that helped me get deep into the tournament. So what can you expect from this session? We are going to review 3 tournaments that were streamed. Another thing that we will focus on this session is about ICM. I hope, or I'm actually confident that all of you can learn something new in this session. We have some 2-3 really unique situations. Linus is involved, Linus Laliga is involved, and then we have another point, hero folding rivers. This is not one of my specialties, I must say. I am not the person to make the tight folds. Maybe I should make them, maybe I should start to make them. So that will also be part of the session. So yeah, I think this hand was maybe on Instagram posted by Triton. For the ones of you, I looked not ideal after the hand ended, but definitely I have some backup why I played like this, and definitely I want to share everything with you. So what is happening here? The cutoff opens and I make a free bet from the small blind with ace king suited. Everything super standard so far. Let me skip a little bit. The cutoff calls and the flop is, we can see it here, check 9-7. So for the ones of you who don't know me, I work really a lot with solvers, so this will always be a big part of my sessions, that it's not only about what I'm thinking, I always want to back up a lot of things with solver input, with the newest technology out there. So yeah, you can definitely expect that as well. What do we have here? I flop check 9-7, I have just 2 overcards, the backdoor flush. When I free bet from the small blind, then I connect kind of well with this board. I free bet a lot of check 10 suited, queen check suited, queen 10 suited, king check suited, king queen off suited. So a lot of the hands that I free bet have equity here. But then I also have a lot of ace king and ace queen and maybe ace 10. So I would say overall the board is good for me, but it's not that good that I could just c-bet everything. So a healthy mix of like c-betting and some checks here is good. And what I decided to do here is I check and see what happens. What happened is that I faced a somewhat small bet. He bets third pot, 15,000 into 45,000, where it would be too tight if I would fold right away. I still have the backdoor straight, I still have the backdoor flush, I have the 2 overcards, I get a good price, so definitely I have to continue here. Jeremy Chan asks, are we talking about live reads as well here? It can be a small part of this session, and I like that you ask it right away, because after I've seen this footage on the river, I might have the impression that I picked something up on the river which I can share with you. But when I played the hand, I did not pick up anything in this situation. So what happens here? Yeah, I call. I was of course thinking a bit, taking my time. I knew it's a big pot here. And the turn is not a great card for me. My plan was I probably have to let go of my hand here. Let's go with a check fold. But of course, I still hope to see the river. Maybe there is a check coming, who knows? So let's see. I check and now he bets around 44%. I did the exact math on it because that's how it is. The price is always an important thing, right? If he bets 2/3 pot, then I just fold my hand right away without thinking. But now he bets below half pot and I'm like, I have ace king here and he can still have 6-5 suited. He can still have 5-4 suited. He can still have queen 10 suited. He can still have king queen off suited, king 10 suited. So there are definitely still hands that I beat. And here I prepared something with BioSolver. I want that you can visualize his betting range here. So this is his in position strategy on the turn. Let's take a look at it together and try to see what bluffs he's supposed to have in the solver here. I can immediately spot 4-5 suited. No equity, but just saying, well, I mean, 5 high is not gonna win at the showdown, right? So I should bluff it. I'm surprised that the solo with 6-5 suited is rather passive. Even he has the gut shot. I would think that in reality, maybe players would be more aggressive with 6-5 suited. What other bluffs can we find? Of course, we have queen 10 suited. We have even some weak suited ace x here, like ace 3, ace 4, ace 5, king queen as mentioned, king 10 suited. So definitely we can find some bluffs, and I decided to stick around and call one more. I looked it up in the solver. This is a mixed hand, so regardless if I call here, if I fold here, both is acceptable. Folding is a bit preferred to the main line, but definitely implementing some calls here, completely fine, I do that. And now Jeremy, we will focus on your point as well, before we see the decision. Take a look at my opponent on the river. My feeling is, when you plan to make a bluff, right? You don't want to look uncertain about what you're doing. And I have the feeling that he really tries to look uncertain. Why do I have the feeling? You will see, I will click play in a second, that he is reaching to the chips, but he's not immediately betting an amount. He's like reaching to 3 chips or maybe 4 chips, then he's adding like another chip, another different colored chip. So to me, it's like he wants to look maybe a little bit of uncertain, like what he is doing, how much he's betting. And I think he would never do that if he really has a bluff. Then he would try to look as strong as possible. Of course, this is not a super reliable read. In-game I didn't spot it at all, but guys, pay attention on it. Maybe you share this impression now. So I read the chat, sorry, so for a second I didn't... we are not on the river yet. Okay, I was reading the chat so I didn't realize it. So now we are on the river. Sorry, I spoiled a bit here. So I check on the river, of course, again, but I shared my thoughts already. So let's pay attention on my opponent here, the way he's reaching out to the chips and everything. Okay, now let's see. So he's grabbing like 3 chips, putting them down a bit, playing around, rethinking the decision. See, you see it, adding another chip, another one, and it's like, maybe this is actually a small read that he tries to look like uncertain. But yeah, maybe I interpret too much into it. In game I didn't even realize it, and in game I was thinking really hard, and actually I decided to go for the call. I was thinking there's just too much queen 10 suited, too much 6-5 suited, too much potential bluffs. And let's think about his value hands. What are his value hands? His value hands is pocket 7s, of course. His value hands is pocket 9s, but this is extremely unlikely because the only available combination is quads, so I kind of discounted that. And then pocket checks, he might even 4-bet it pre-flop, cutoff versus small blind. Then we have 10-9 suited. So yeah, of course we can find value hands, but I can also find bluffs. So in my mind it was actually a really close decision. I decided to call, and yeah, it did not work. I think that's pretty obvious against quads. But yeah, I'm not here to just share with you the hands where everything works brilliant, right? I also want to share the struggle with you, the difficult decision, showing you that sometimes I'm not making the right decision, or at least from a results-oriented point of view. Geduld bitte asks if this player is a known online regular. Yes. He is an online player, and I think he's more on the aggressive side, and that was part of my consideration as well. If it's someone I haven't played before, if it's someone where I'm not sure if he's capable of bluffing here, then I would certainly not call here. And also here, in hindsight, I must say I still prefer the fold. Also, the solver has like 90% fold, so it's not out of line to call here. The solver has like 10% call, but it's not the main line, and yeah, in hindsight I think I would prefer a fold, but that's how I played it. Adam J asks a very interesting question in my opinion. You ask, what about the check X in his situation? Would he go all in with the check? Would he bet smaller with the check? Maybe would he consider to check back? And yeah, I think if he's not going for value with a hand like king check or ace check, then it makes my call better because there is less value hands in his range. I think with the strongest ones, ace check and king check, he will make a bet. But if he has a weaker check like check 10, he might consider a check back. And somebody told me that he won the Sunday Million, I think 3 times, not sure if that is true. Okay, that's it with the first hand. I think I have prepared around 10 hands, so I want to have good pace, show you many different situations. Whenever you have questions, just drop them in the chat. I will try my best to answer everything, and we just go to the next hand, I guess.
I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to support the channel and stay always up to date, then leave a subscribe here or check out our next video.